Alright, let's do some refinements and cache it out. So I kinda like almost everything here. Maybe one of the things I wanted to change is make them dissipate just a little bit faster because I don't quite like them hanging around here. That's really disturbing or destroying the trail I'm seeing, like where this lead emitter is going. Right, I'm gonna change that to maybe 0.15 just to double the dissipation speed. And see how that looks like. So that way I'm really seeing where this leading part is going. That's enough, so let me go take a look. Maybe just a little bit more trail that I can see. Maybe 0.12 or 0.11. Okay, just want to have a much clean looking readable shape, because when this guy goes back, I want these guys to disappear so I can still make the audience again focusing on the leading part, but can still feel a trail behind it. That's what I'm really trying to achieve here. So I guess 0.11 is probably good. I'm gonna wait for the simulation to finish. It's going downwards. Notice that it's getting slower when you're simulating to later frames. The reason being for that is because when you're simulating, when a lot of those fog are being emitted, this box has to get bigger. Bigger this box is, the more simulation it has to do. So that's why it's getting slow eventually when it gets too big. Okay, so I like this result now because now I can really feel like this movement from this leading part, but still kind of feel the trail behind it. Cool. Alright, so if you want to do more tweaking, you obviously can go here and change the parameters until you're happy with the result. For demonstration purposes, I think that's good enough, so I'm not gonna bother tweaking too much. Let me go back out to the object level. I'm going to turn off this smoke simulation and create a geometry here. Oops, not this guy. And call this smoke sim cache. I'm going to cache this smoke simulation inside of this geometry. So here I'm going to delete this file and create a .io, not .input, .io. .io is .input and .output combined together. So .io right here, and change the .network to the smoke simulation. The .node is gonna be the smoke object. Presets is gonna be the smoke, and when you change it to that, it creates 4 fields: density, velocity, temperature. I don't need temperature, so close that. Rest is actually pretty useful if you wanted to create extra textures. So I'm not really having rest from my model yet. I do have the actual fog, as you can see, but I don't really have the rest yet. So I'm gonna go back to really apply it. Okay, so back to the smoke simulation here underneath the smoke object, and go to the creation and initial data. And you have this add rest field. Okay, and you have also the division scale for that. Oops, 0.5 is probably good. So yeah, and that's not even enough. Here you also have to go to the Pyro solver. I don't know why they separate those two things, but on the Pyro solver You also have to go to the advanced and underneath the rest field and enable that here too. Now frame between solvers will be like how many frames it will reset the field. As you can see, doesn't really comment that, but you can change that to something lower if your object is moving too fast. I'm gonna change that back to 20, so I'm having more resetting when it's moving here. Okay, cool. So with that being set it up, I am going to actually go simulate a field frame and holding down middle mouse button on this guy. As you can see, we have density, rest, and rest 2. That's what this dual rest field is. Basically using two resting fields repeating each other and blending between each other to get a fluid and smooth transition. Or if you don't really want to know what they means, you don't have to. Just use these settings. I will show you how they're useful later. We have velocity and pressure. I guess I don't need that. So go back to the smoke simulation cache, and here I need the rest. I need the rest 2. So let me copy this and paste it here and apply also the rest 2 and use the invisible for it, because I have actually a rest 2. If you go here and take a look, I have rest and rest 2. Again, they're used. They're going to be used later on when we are doing rendering. Okay. Again, density, velocity, rest, rest 2. Make sure that you toggle on rest calculation. Again, one more time. Here, go to the creation, or I guess it doesn't matter. Underneath initial data here, and go check on add rest field back to the parallel solver. Make sure that you enable the rest underneath advanced and rest field. Okay. Make sure you have these two things. Alright, cool. So back to the .io. I'm happy with the setting. Go back to the top and change the geometry file location to job, and that's going to be where my project is. I'm gonna call it smoke sim. Don't need to have the operator string, frame, and file format are all good. Alright, I'm gonna go for save to file, back to frame 1, and just save to disk. And it's gonna fire up the simulation, and when it's done, I'm gonna come back with a new tutorial, and we're gonna talk about maybe lighting and rendering. Okay, see you next time.